Before we dive into the discussion, I kind of wanted to give some definitions to get us all on the same page. And I'll start with a stone top. So a stone top is someone who prefers to give sexual pleasure rather than receive genital or intimate contact from a partner. They may still enjoy intimacy in ways that don't involve being touched sexually, and a stone topped can be used regardless of gender presentation. This might also be known as a touch me not. There's also a term called stone butch, which is similar to stone top, but it's a historical term that's specific to butch lesbians. This will often be someone with a masculine gender presentation who does not allow physical genital touch during sex and derives sexual satisfaction mainly through pleasuring their partner. Before we jump over to Pillow Princess, I'm wondering, Syd, if you can get real honest with us real night.
No, I came here to lie.
Can you get honest? I'm wondering, why are you a stone top?
Well, there's two reasons, really. And the first is that the enjoyment I derive from sexual intimacy is from pleasing my partner. And on the flip side, receiving, like sexual touch makes me uncomfortable and I don't like it.
Have you dug into why?
Can I ask why it makes you uncomfortable?
For me personally, a lot of it is rooted in dysphoria and also just I'm not comfortable receiving attention in that fashion. I'm not comfortable being perceived in that fashion. It's also just not what I want out of sex. I want to bend you over. I'm never like, I want to take my pants off. I'm like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I'm like, I would love for you to get naked. I want to do stuff to you. That's my mentality going into sex.
It does make sense. I feel like I'm a very switchy person in that I've been in both places where it's sometimes I feel like I just want to receive all of the pleasure and I don't want to give anything back to someone. It's just the fucking mood I'm in. Yeah. Or I feel like I don't want to be touched that day either, but I'm like, this person is so delicious and hot. Yeah. And I would love to do all of these things to someone.
Yeah, I'm like, I want to consume you.
Yeah. And I've orgasmed from doing that before. No genital stimulation, but I've come just from enjoying that.
Yeah.
I love a top like that.
Yeah. It's my favorite kind. Yeah. It's mental.
It's mental though.
It's mental.
Yeah. But I think what unlocked that for me is I used to be the person in high school. This was a lot of straight sex though. I was like, I can't come. You realize a lot of coming for people who have vaginas is so mental.
Yeah.
And then once you unlock that, it's I just have to get in my fantasy mode.
100%. And I think actually you saying that is one of the reasons that I don't like receiving is because I don't like being perceived as a person with a vagina, even though that's very obviously what I am and who I am. And I
wouldn't say obvious.
Stop.
I wouldn't though. I wouldn't say that's obvious.
Thanks. It's more just that's not how I want to be perceived. Yeah. And when I fantasize about or imagine receiving pleasure, it's the me in my head doesn't match with the me in reality. We don't have the same parts.
Yeah.
But there are people who are stoned for a multitude of reasons. There are cis people who are stoned. That's just my experience personally.
If this is too personal, you can tell me, but would you ever want to get bottom surgery? Do you think that would change your experience with sex?
I wish I could have a retractable
try it out?
a retractable dingus. If I
dingus.
I don't want to walk around and I also don't want to walk around and be perceived as someone who has a dick.
Right.
I'm very non-binary. The only situation in which I would want it is to receive sexual pleasure, and that's not even something I want most of the time. So it's just kind of
even if you had one, you don't think that you would
It's hard to say if you haven't tried.
I think I would be equally as non-binary if I had one. I'd be equally as trans.
Oh yeah.
I
don't mean you wouldn't be non-binary, but do you think that it would change your desire to
be touched?
Maybe. It would
say.
definitely change my comfortability level, but I think the driving pleasurable factor for me is always pleasing my partner and always has been and always will be.
That makes sense. I think when I was doing research online of why people in general are stoned, it is in line with that. A lot of stone identities involve gender dysphoria or even euphoria. The act of not participating sometimes can give you euphoria.
Yeah, there's that aspect of it where I'm when I'm feeling more I'm a man, but I don't receive, I'm just gonna take care of you. I don't know, it does something for me. That's what I want.
Yeah, and I think that even touches on the erotic power exchange that's part of this dynamic too, is, I don't know, it can either be dominant or it can be a little bit subby too.
I mean, the way I do it is subby, that's for sure.
And another part is there's also trauma-informed boundaries as well. It's sometimes
100%.
it is connected to someone's own trauma, and I think we'll dig into that too. I think the history of stone butch, it's there was so much trauma going on.
I think dysphoria is also a flavor of trauma though.
Sure.
And I also think, and know this to be true because I know people who are stoned without any trauma related to the situation. There's just the same with like nobody's bisexual in the same way, nobody's a lesbian in the same way, nobody's non-binary in the same way. Everyone who experiences this like sexual preference, I guess, experiences it differently and for different reasons. Yeah. So that's the one thing I want everyone to take away from this is that my experience is not the stone experience, it's a stone experience.
Line up like a line of stones.
Yeah.
Period.
And it would be
okay, Carvin.
I see. No, that's good. I agree. Let's do that. And then I think another element of it too that I've been noticing that we were talking about, it's like being able to come just by giving someone pleasure is like there's a deeply embodied desire that isn't centered on reciprocity.
And not only that, but I also want to just make an addendum to that is like I don't even care about coming. Like I don't please people because it gets me off. I just enjoy it. Like it's like truly my favorite
Does
hobby.
it feel sexual
Your
to you?
favorite hobby?
My favorite hobby. Yes.
More than guitar?
More than guitar, more than singing.
Is it sexual for you? Like, are you turned on when you're doing it?
But it's like a different kind of turned on. I would say the occasions on which I've like let anyone do anything to me, which have been very few and far between, but have happened, were because I was like very physically turned on, which is not usually the way I receive a situation. It's very mental. Like my whole being is like turned on by this, but I don't like feel it in my junk, if that makes sense.
Really?
Sometimes, not all the time. It depends on like hormones, time of the month, who I'm with, what I'm doing. Like all of it is very, very fluid, but like it's not about coming. It's not about like pleasure in that, like physical pleasure for me. Really at all. It's a very mental, very emotional, very
Let's dive over to Pillow Princess. So a Pillow Princess is someone who prefers to receive sexual pleasure rather than actively give sexual pleasure to a partner. The term historically comes from lesbian communities. However, it's a misconception that it's one-sided. The Pillow Princess gives back through emotional intimacy, care, lexicon in the 1990s. The only thing I want to note though is like I found some conflicting historical citations with some people believing it meant like a femme that only wanted to give and not receive, but the majority is like defining it the same as a Pillow Princess. So I would love to know what people think in the comments, but I found it a bit confusing. So Addy, same question for you. Why are you a Pillow Princess?
I'm a Pillow Princess because I love being the center of attention. I know you said that you don't feel comfortable getting attention in that way. I love getting attention in that way. I love attention in general, but I love attention in like a sexual situation, in like an intimate situation. I like being taken care of.
Yeah, I feel the same way a lot of the time too. It's like I love being the center of the attention, and I think it kind of goes into a bit of voyeurism for me too. Like I love being watched.
Absolutely.
Oh, like I get
no.
Exhibition.
Yeah. I was like, wait, you're watching yourself? Mirrors are great.
Yeah, but sometimes watching yourself is hot too.
I agree.
And like I think it used to be kind of a bad thing for me, like in high school. I think because of porn and all of these elements, I used to view sex as like a performance you put on for a man. And that was not hot for me. Like I said, I couldn't come. But I realized I actually like the performance element once I take kind of the man's viewpoint out of it. But sometimes I still enjoy putting on a show, like bisexual. Sometimes I enjoy still putting on a show for a man, but it's like in your own terms, on my own terms. And I kind of turn into more of a Pillow Princess on that side where I'm like, fuck you to men. And now I don't really want to give you anything. And it's like, you personally, that man specifically didn't do anything to me, but I'm just like payback from all of it's like I'm being a feminist right now. Like, sorry, I'm not gonna do anything to you.
Bottoming is feminist. It is.
Literally. I do want to say though, just an amendment to what I said before. I love receiving attention sexually. I just not that part of my body.
That's so fair.
But like if we're having, like, you need to be all about me. All over me.
Like they need to like really want you.
Yes.
It's like I want you to do things to me, not somebody else.
Guys,
Carvin just powered up.
Carvin just gets me or whatever.
Addy, I do have a follow-up question for you though. I'm wondering, like, do you get aroused at the idea of pleasuring your partner at all?
Sometimes, kind of, but I also feel like a big part of like sex and like queer sex specifically, don't make yourself do something you don't want to do. I feel like you shouldn't be doing anything if it feels like it's a chore. If my partner would enjoy it, like maybe could potentially do this, but I'm like, if you don't 100% want to be down there, you shouldn't be, because like your partner's gonna feel that.
So
that's kind of true.
Yeah.
Honestly, I agree with that.
I'm conflicted on that.
You do?
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay, tell us. Yeah, tell us your thoughts.
Not that somebody shouldn't want to do it and they should do it anyway. Like I love enthusiasm for sure.
Yeah.
But even if I'm not in the mood, like I would still do it.
Really?
Like, but would you enjoy it?
Yeah. Like I would get into it.
Yeah.
That's the thing.
Even
though,
if
but,
like initially I'm like, meh, I could go to sleep.
Yeah.
But like,
That's the least relatable thing you've said.
as the actions progress, I'm like,
No, I'm into it.
I'm into it now.
Yeah.
Right.
I feel like that's like on long-term relationship business, but
Yeah.
Right. It wouldn't be a hookup thing. It wouldn't be a
Yeah.
hookup thing. Yeah.
I feel like it's more in that it is a bit of like a sexual, I don't know if it's sexual orientation, like a bit of a sexual preference though. Like it's just people want different things in bed.
Yeah. Like I'm like, I'll find a different way to reciprocate.
Okay, real quick. We're going to be honest with you for a second about something that is really important to us.
The Queer Collective podcast lost our biggest sponsor this year, and we're losing what covered more than half of what it costs to keep this show alive. And honestly, it sucked, and it still really sucks.
We're really proud of this podcast. We put a ton of time, research, care, and our love into every episode to bring you queer stories that don't often get told. Stories with depth, nuance, and joy, and not just rainbow capitalism once a year. But the reality is that queer media is getting harder to fund, not easier.
So instead of letting one company decide whether this show survives, we're choosing something way more aligned with our values. We're launching a Patreon.
If this podcast has ever made you feel seen, smarter, gayer, or less alone, this is a way to help us keep doing the work with you.
Patreon members get ad-free episodes, extended cuts, live chats moderated by us, and honestly, our eternal gratitude and mild emotional attachment.
We know money is tight for a lot of us, but if you're able to support, even a few dollars a month helps keep queer voices independent, loud, and unfiltered.
This show exists because of our beautiful queer community that we've been able to build together.
And if you want to help us keep it alive, we'd be so grateful to have you. Okay, love you.
Bye!
Do you think straight people can use the term pillow princess?
Or stone
No.
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 Because I have heard it in like the
They
straight
do.
community.
That's
co-opted
kind
it.
of weird. What do you mean
A
by
pillow
that?
princess, just like a girl that lays there
Doesn't do
and
anything, she lays there.
and then the guy does all the work.
Straight
Yeah.
people have their own terms for that. That's called a starfish. Use your own words.
Use your
'cause that's
own
not What that
terms.
means.
Yeah.
Not that I'm a gatekeeper.
Not
in
that I
any
want to
sense, but,
police
like,
what words you use.
But like when straight people use queer sex terms, it really does bother me because I'm friends with a straight guy who told me that he's a power bottom, and I was
straight
like,
guy.
and he was like, yeah, because I fuck from the bottom. I was like, babe, power bottom means you're riding dick.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, that's not what that means.
You got it wrong.
Like that's not what you shouldn't be telling people that.
And
That's not what
you not only ride it, but you ride it real good.
Oh yeah. And you love it. And
you love it.
You love it.
Can't get enough.
Yeah, I was like, I think it's.
Did you tell him that?
I did. I was like,
What was his
I don't
reaction?
get angry. I'm just like, you need to know that you're not communicating what you want to be communicating by
Yeah.
using these terms that you don't understand.
Yeah, it doesn't just mean you're at the bottom.
If you're a man who calls yourself a bottom, I'm gonna assume your wife pegs you. Like
Yes.
that's
Yeah,
Yeah, 100%.
that's what I would have
I think
assumed.
100%.
that's an appropriate time for a
That's
straight
an
person to say
appropriate
they're a
time.
power bottom.
and real.
Yeah, if you're getting pegged, you can
riding
say you're
dick,
bottom, I guess.
absolutely. But otherwise, like, no, you're just a man having sex.
I do agree. I
Oh
think
man, you're just a man having sex. I've never felt more sad in my life.
what do you think about the term like stone? Also,
Stone?
like being a stone.
I just
top.
don't think that that's
For straight
applicable
people to use?
I
Yeah.
don't think that I've heard that.
You can't be stoned.
You can't.
I don't think.
I mean,
well, it depends on how
if
you're
you
having
don't
sex.
like someone to touch you.
Sure, but like,
Yeah,
I mean,
I don't know.
I think it's a very historically queer identity, though.
Yeah.
I agree. I'm just
And I
asking.
think, I mean, do whatever you want, really, but you're gonna confuse a lot of queer people.
Yeah.
And it's kind of our word, so you should probably
yeah.
use it appropriately.
I think the co-optation of Pillow Princess has like put some misogyny
Yeah, I know, 100%.
into it.
Yeah.
In that
100%.
like the Pillow Princess is lazy. There are all of
Yes,
these things like they don't
100%.
participate in it. Like
Yeah.
it creates a lot of misconceptions about the identity, which is
Yeah.
not at all the truth. And we'll figure that out when I talk about the history.
Yeah.
It's like it's not the reality of it.
No, but the other thing is that it's not an umbrella term. It's a lesbian identity, or like lesbian and queer adjacent. So like trans, non-binary, sapphic.
I mean, stone top specifically is like neutral to queer people.
I don't think gay men use stone and pillow princess, and I don't think they're supposed
I don't think so.
No. So I'm like, if it was,
I'm saying queer. I don't think all gay men.
It's a sapphic thing.
It's definitely a sapphic thing. So I'm like, if there are even members of our own queer community who don't and understand that they don't use and identify with these
the same way like words. I wouldn't call myself a bear even though I look like one. Girl. See, but that's a really good example, and now everyone at home understands.
Exactly.
I will say there are lesbians and sapphic people that use the word twink. That's for themselves.
I feel like that's more of a gender thing, though. I feel like that's more lesbians, like very androgynous or non-binary lesbians, who are like, when I feel like a boy, I feel like a twink. I'm like a gay man. If you're a man who's into me, you're still gay.
More of like a physical like appearance descriptor.
Stone as a historical identity is also like, it's very tied to like specifically sapphic trauma and survival.
It is. It's very significant.
It's not twink. It's different. It's just different. To me, it's similar to like white masks knowing that they cannot identify as studs.
Totally.
You know what I mean?
Can't even get into that. It's too much.
You cannot, like, it's historically for black sapphics.
Have you met
lesbians.
White like butches who call themselves studs?
I've met one too many. And
one too many.
If one existed, that's one too many.
Yeah.
But I feel online, especially, a lot of the younger queers don't know all the terms, or they reject the term butch. They don't like it. Stems I hear a lot, and studs I hear a lot. I know. I know. For white people, for non-black lesbians, I see a lot of them calling themselves studs and stems, and I'm like, there's different words. Like
there are other. That's what I'm saying. Like there are other words to describe your experience. That like don't portray a historical context that you can't relate.
That's a good example.
You can literally say you can say dyke. You can say mask.
I call myself mask. That's it.
What's your favorite part about being a stone top?
Your favorite part?
What are the benefits?
I get to eat pussy all the time.
That's beautiful.
Thank you.
Yeah,
that's beautiful.
I think I'm tearing up.
The benefits are that the benefits are that I get to go into a sexual experience knowing that I can have it exactly the way I want it with someone who also wants me to experience it that way.
Right.
And like wants to be on the receiving end of that in exactly that way.
In that way, does it feel a bit about control though? Like you don't like being out of control? Which is interesting.
No, I'm submissive.
I know, but that's
true.
Yeah.
That's the interesting part to me.
No, it has nothing to do with control. It's about comfort and safety and pleasure. It's like I'm going into this knowing that like the person I'm with doesn't want me in ways I don't want them to want me.
And they respect my comfort and my
It's not even about respect. It's that our desires are aligned. Like I'm like, I want to fuck you, and they're like, I want you to fuck me.
Yeah. Right.
There's nothing hotter than that. There's nothing hotter than that.
The puzzle pieces.
The puzzle pieces, exactly.
Erotically fitting.
They are. Sorry. Is that what eroticism looks like to you?
Yeah. On the vice versa, I'm like, what do you love about being a pillow princess?
I love being taken care of. I love knowing that I'm like having sex with someone that's not expecting me to do anything that I'm not comfortable with. And I also I love people that are givers. I love a giver. I love generosity. Exactly. Thank you, Chapel Roan. Shout out to Chapel Roan for the giver. Getting to be like in an intimate, like vulnerable situation with someone that is giving like that is like really, really special. Also, I find that like me specifically, I have a very dominant giving personality in general, but not necessarily sexually, so it's nice to have it like flipped on me.
Totally.
Yeah, that makes sense.
I think you see that a lot in general, like these like big CEO people end up being these like secret subs in dungeons and stuff. It's
they
like
want to be stepped on.
Yeah, like people want that role reversal.
Why are we exposing me right now?
Big sexy CEO.
Are you a CEO?
I mean,
up here, love.
Or like somebody who like takes control of their life in like a very big way, especially in like their career path, where they're like in control all the time, making decisions. A lot of the time, people in those roles, when it comes to like sexual experiences, don't want to make any decisions. They just like
I definitely like giving up that control and like letting another person do it.
Yeah, but that's more tied into like power dynamics than it is about giving and receiving.
That's true. Yeah. That's true.
Because I'm a big switch. Like I'm both dom and sub, but I'm not verse. I'm very much like I'm a top. I'm stone.
What are some myths and misconceptions about being a stone top?
Oh, there's a fuck ton of those.
Yeah.
First off, not every mask is a stone top, and not everyone who's stone top is a mask. Second of all, every single person's stone experience is different. Not everyone's sort of tendency to not want to receive is rooted in trauma, although it can be, and that's completely valid. That's a couple to start, for sure.
What about myths for pillow princesses?
One that we already talked about is that we're all starfish. I'm like, I don't know about y'all. I'm a very active participant during sex.
100%.
Extremely.
I think that's the point. Like, the sex is gonna kind of die if you're not putting a show on.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And I think it comes down to people like having such a narrow view of sex and like only thinking of like touching genitals as like this is sex. But I'm like, first of all, queer sex in general is like breaking your traditional boundaries of what sex is considered. But like, I'm reciprocating in ways that a lot of people just don't understand.
Can you name some of the ways?
I have a nail fetish. I'm a femme lesbian, so as much as my nails are like a femme thing, they're also majorly a sex thing.
Like scratching people.
Scratching, love scratching. Like digging nails in, or even just not necessarily, like I love to leave marks, I think that's really hot, but like tantric touch where you just go as light as you can. It's like light as a feather. I've had people like come from that. Because they like, it's like full body like chills.
You okay over there? Yeah.
I'm great. Thanks for asking.
Agreed. Like, I think there's other ways to pleasure someone other than just your genitals.
Most of the fun ways to pleasure someone are without your genitals.
This is true.
This is true.
Yeah. A lot of verbal work can also be used.
Can you give us an example, Carson?
No, I get really flustered and shy. Thanks.
Yeah. Their individual preferences as well. Like, how do you like to be spoken to? What do you like to be called?
Do you like to be spoken to? Do you like to be called?
Yeah.
You know what
Exactly.
I mean? I've had one too many experiences with people thinking they know what I like to hear, and I'm just like, no.
Like,
What?
that's not
What have people gone wrong?
Well, I think everyone assumes that I like to be called daddy, and that just doesn't
like it?
do it for me. No. I've like experimented with it, but at the end of the day, it doesn't like turn me on. I just feel weird.
I like baby girl, mommy, and daddy in a non-binary way. Like, don't
You're the whole family.
I'm the whole fam. Depends on the person who's saying it also, and like the dynamic that's created.
100%.
But
Would you have a man call you daddy?
Hot. I would have a man call me daddy. I think that's the context I would enjoy it in.
Yeah.
Me too.
Yeah.
Real.
Maybe.
I don't know why. I kind of like when men call me mommy. Like, you're pathetic. I'm like I'm a mean mommy. I'm a mean mommy to
Why'd you
men.
look at me when you said
Damn.
I'm sweating?
I actually only like it in like a sapphic situation if someone calls me daddy, because and if I'm wearing a strap.
Tell me more about that.
Yeah, tell us, please.
I feel like it's rooted in like watching porn and like hetero porn and me visualizing I'm the man, and then it's like I'm daddy.
Yeah.
You are daddy.
That's my gender
100%.
in that moment.
So show.
Yeah, but I think people make that assumption about me a lot when they like sleep with me, and I'm like, this needed to be a conversation.
What
first.
do you like to be called?
I like baby.
That makes sense for you.
Baby or my name.
Cute.
What's my name?
I don't know why. Maybe because I hate my name, but I don't really like when people say my name during sex. I'm like,
When they say your name during sex, do they say your full 3-syllable name?
Emily made Jasper.
the full government.
The Gotti.
They're like, Daddy, Emily made Jasper.
Mommy, daddy, baby girl.
You're summoning all my personalities at once. I'm like,
You start twitching.
okay.
What's next?
So this is an audience question. Someone was wondering, how can you kindly correct or inform someone when they use pillow princess or stone top as an insult?
Let me tell you something. First of all, I've never heard someone use stone top as an insult. I'm sure it happens. Not my experience, but I do hear it about pillow princesses a lot, and it pisses me off. And I have this story. I met someone, we ended up dating, funnily enough, but we were all out with some friends, and she was being very loud about like women who don't eat pussy aren't lesbians. They're not really
That was a
gay.
misconception we missed,
And
actually.
I was
that you're not a lesbian.
My way of diffusing the situation is always to be like, oh, interesting. I love a pillow princess. Like me personally,
right.
I love a pillow
You just like turn it around into like a positive.
I'm like, I feel like people aren't open to having their mind changed when they feel judged. So I'm never like, fuck you, you're wrong. I'm like, me personally, if you want to hear about my experience. And I told her that. I was like, I love a pillow princess. And she was like, but you don't find it like lazy? She was like, if you don't love pussy, how can you be queer? And I was like, I don't know, do you hate on straight women who don't suck dick? Everyone has sexual preferences, and you know, that may not align with yours, but it does align with mine, and I'm very grateful they exist. There is somebody out there who wants me in exactly the way I want to be wanted. Like, that makes me so happy.
Yeah.
So she knew I was stone.
Yeah.
And I'm very open, honest, communicative with the people I go into dynamics with, because I do love reciprocation, but in very specific ways. I'm like, be more dominant with me, hands all over me, kiss me.
Lead
I
the
want
scene.
attention.
Yeah.
Like, you can touch me anywhere but there. Just like, don't handle my junk. That's all I ask for. You can do pretty much anything else. And I want to feel like you want me. I want the attention. I want the touch. I want you to care that I'm turned on. This person,
Which is a lot of participation. Sorry.
It is. It's what I want. It's what I want. It is reciprocation, and only in the ways that I want it. And it's perfect. And this person did not get on top of me for the whole 5 months we dated. Did not put their hands on me.
Yeah.
I don't think they ever kissed my neck once. And I just was like, you are the pillow princess you fear in the world.
Yeah.
Hold up.
Yeah. Well, maybe
Not
through the
hold up.
stereotype.
Let's hear it, Carbon.
And you dated for 5 months?
Yeah.
Well, like after the first month, I don't know.
I really enjoy giving. Like,
No, that's-
But
yeah.
I do need to be better about that. But it wasn't just about the sex. Like, I was like, I like spending time with you. I like hanging out with you.
Oh, you can
I like
call that a
doing
friend?
things with you. But we were kissing and having sex and
That's a
going on
lesbian
dates.
friend.
No.
That's all my friends. Yeah, me too. It's just a lesbian friend.
So funny. I don't know. The people who are loudest about it tend to tell on themselves a lot.
I have a hot take about that.
Yeah, what are your thoughts?
I think the people that are vehemently anti-pillow princess or anti-stone top, or specifically anti-pillow princess, are bottoms with internalized bottom phobia. They can't admit it to themselves, because I find that they also tend to be the ones that are like, well, yeah, you like top your partner because they top you. Like, you do it because like they're gonna top you after, and I'm like, girl, the section of me so like transactional to you, like
right, like do the things you
don't have to do anything that you don't want to do.
Real.
Yeah.
So real.
But they're like, they feel guilty, and then so they have to project that guilt onto everybody else who's like proud of their identity.
Right. I also think maybe she just didn't understand what a pillow princess stone top dynamic is.
Yeah.
And like that's what the misconception was in her head, is like, you just starfish and lay there. So she's like, this is what you want.
I was very vocal.
You're
I
like,
was
please don't do
very
that.
much like,
It sounds like
Yeah.
she thought she wasn't, because she's like, I can eat pussy.
yeah.
But everything else was missing.
But to me, I'm like, I would rather you be someone who doesn't eat pussy but is very active and engaged and like,
Totally.
you know, has a hand during sex than someone who can eat pussy and just kind of lies there.
For sure.
If that makes sense.
Bottoming is a skill, underrated skill.
100%.
I agree.
100%.
Yeah.
100%.
Addie, how would you handle someone kind of coming at you negatively, either about a stone or a pillow princess?
I always just bring it back to like boundaries. Like, I'm like, you wouldn't expect anyone else to shift their sexual boundaries. And also, people are so about like, obviously everyone should be about consent, but it's like, now you have these people like pillow princesses, stone tops, who know exactly what they want, who know exactly what their boundaries are, and they're telling them to you. But now all of a sudden you want to like shift the goalposts or like change them because you think that that's not the right way to have sex. You wouldn't expect anyone else to change their boundaries. Why is it all of a sudden a problem when it's like a lesbian sexual identity?
Totally. I agree. Hot take.
Do stone tops and pillow princesses have any connection to the asexual spectrum?
The short answer is that they can overlap, but they're not the same thing, and they don't map cleanly onto each other. The ace identity that some stone tops and pillow princesses may relate to are plasiosexual and aciopiosexual. Have we heard of these?
Guys,
These are new words.
Hold
for my
on.
They were
vocab.
new words for me too.
I don't know, what is that?
Okay.
Who came up with that?
Someone who's plasiosexual, and I hope I'm saying these the right way, they enjoy giving sexual pleasure. So this would be kind of, I guess, connected to Stone. They enjoy giving sexual pleasure but do not experience sexual attraction towards their partner, which that feels very different.
Interesting. That feels way different.
Yeah.
So this sexual activity might still feel satisfying, affirming, and intimate, all without attraction. So that's kind of why it's under the ace spectrum, is like, you know, like it's the lack of sexual attraction, but you're still, a lot of ace people can have ways that they still want to participate in sex, though. Like some people still do engage in sex.
Interesting.
Would this like assume that there's a romantic attraction though?
Not assuming
That's a
that.
good question.
No. I mean, like some people can be aromantic, or some people can still have romantic attraction and be asexual. So those are different things as well. So it gets complicated on many layers.
Oh gosh.
But,
there's layers.
Yeah, there's layers to it. There's different reasons why someone may want to engage in sex if they're asexual. So I'll leave it there for now. But someone who's asapiosexual enjoys receiving sexual pleasure but does not experience sexual attraction. So again, it's kind of like that same root. They may enjoy sex touch or erotic sensation without the desire being directed at another person.
Like a person.
Me in my experience, I don't know that this is something I've personally ever come across.
Yeah.
Like from a pillow princess specifically,
Yeah.
or other stone tops. I think those people are definitely classified the same way as like stone tops and pillow princesses. I don't see a shit ton of overlap.
That's the thing, is they're definitely
interesting,
not the
though.
same thing. They're separate
Yeah.
identities, but someone could identify as both.
Yeah.
If that makes sense. Like you could be
Sure.
both.
Sure.
And like this could be kind of your reason, the same way you have reasons. The same like the same way
100%.
you were saying, like people can be stoned in
100%.
so many different
100%.
ways.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Absolutely.
Yeah. So like the key difference here is that ace identities describe how sexual attraction functions or doesn't, and whereas stone tops / pillow princesses are identities that come from lesbian and queer sex cultures, and they describe sexual roles, boundaries, and embodiment. So you could have both at the same time or neither. The same way it's like you have different sexualities, like maybe you identify as a lesbian or bisexual, you know what I mean? It's like they're at the same time of being a pillow princess or being stone. It's like they could exist.
So some people genuinely identify as both, but they're still separate and distinct.
You got it.
Did I nail it?
Both?
As
No,
both pillow
kind of what I
princess and
said.
stone top?
No,
both the ace sex.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
I was
you could be
very
ace
confused
and a
about
pillow
that.
princess.
So was I.
Yeah. So queer scholars actually really caution against interpreting stone identities as a lack of desire or repression,
Yes.
and collapsing lesbian sexual cultures into ace framework. So it's important that we keep them separate.
They are, to me,
Even
they're
though they can
kind of
coexist.
completely separate. I think
Totally.
they can overlap, but they are separate
Yeah.
entities for sure.
But I definitely wanted to bring this up though because we did get a few comments about it when we were asking for questions. So I'm like, I think it's a bit of a misconception that could exist, or it's like people could see stone as being potentially a bit asexual.
That's very interesting because I'm
Yeah.
like a hypersexual person.
Exactly.
Like I'm kind of always ready to go.
Hence why it's a misconception. Many stone tops and pillow princesses do experience sexual attraction, like we were saying, and stone identities specifically involve gender dysphoria or euphoria, trauma-informed boundaries, erotic power exchanges, and deeply embodied desire. And like none of that is captured by asexuality. You know?
I see.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Okay. I think we kind of maybe touched on it a little bit, but have either of you explored outside of your dynamics, and what was that experience like for you?
I was kind of a late bloomer in terms of sex. I didn't start having sex till my 20s.
Yeah.
So but I kind of am happy that I waited that long because I knew what I wanted before I ever went into anything, which I think was good for me. So I've kind of always known that I was a pillow princess in having sex. There was one girl that I was seeing where I was like, I'm kind of curious. I kind of want to top you. And other people have given me the opportunity because I'm a one-night stand kind of person.
Yeah.
And I have had sex with verses the most often, actually, and not stone tops.
I think just a lot of people are kind of verse.
Yeah, a lot of people are
like, I feel like
verse.
it's just a little more common.
Yeah, it is. It is more common, and they're like, "I'll top for a night, girl. I don't care." I'm like,
Right.
"Period, okay." But there was one time that I like tried, kind of, and I was like, I really like watching you and your reactions, and this is intriguing to me. But like, performing this act is not doing anything for me. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I'm like, I can get these reactions out of you in other ways too.
Right.
So I'm like, let's make this
Hot.
pleasurable for both of us.
Yeah, that makes
Hot.
sense.
Yeah.
Totally. How about you, Syd?
Don't look at me like that when you ask me this question. Little background on me. I spent I would say I spent 3 years having sexual experiences before I had like what I feel like was real intimate sex with someone.
Yeah, like you were trial and erroring it.
Yeah, I was like very publicly, casually hooking up with people, like very one night stand, very I don't know you, very whatever. And then when I think I was almost 22 was the first time I really like properly had sex with someone, and I fell in love with that person.
By properly, you mean that was the first time it was like pleasurable?
It was the first time it was somewhere private.
Oh.
What
do you?
Wait a minute.
So like
So you're having
when
like
I was
public
when
sex.
I was like from the
Bathrooms
ages
or-
of like 18 to 21, almost 22, I was like hooking up with people in clubs and bathrooms.
Oh, okay.
Parties.
Yeah.
Like then once I had what I felt like was sex, I don't really count that anymore because it would be like the equivalent of like giving a blowjob in a bathroom or something. It doesn't feel like fucking.
Right.
Then I had a relationship with someone who was also trans, also a top, and I was in love. And they were very good at what they did, so it left very little room for me to be uncomfortable, if that makes sense. I was like, I feel seen in the way I want to be seen. I'm being touched in the way that I'm okay with being touched.
Yeah.
And that was a very enjoyable experience.
Yeah.
And since then, it's never occurred for me again.
Can I ask you how they were able to do that for you? Because someone did ask a question about how they can sort of switch up the roles.
I want to get back to that question separately, actually, because I have like a serious answer for that. But for this, mostly it was just, first of all, I'm way more comfortable with other trans people.
Yeah.
But second of all, like I was in love. I was already like deeply vulnerable with this person. I still had like my rules. That's what you should expect.
Don't try to change people.
I've been in love again, and it still wasn't comfortable for me in the same way.
Interesting.
Not a negative or a positive, it's just kind of who I am. It's not really what I seek out in sex. Yes, I have experimented. Yes, I have enjoyed it.
Yeah.
No, I don't see that really in my future, but who knows? Sexuality is very, very fluid.
Totally.
But it's not fluid to the same extent and in the same ways for everybody.
For sure.
Yeah. And at the same time, yeah. My sexuality is
you almost
fluid
got
in very
canceled,
specific ways.
but you saved
it.
Kind of the follow-up question, I guess, the same one that I just answered you, circling back there. How can people sort of mix up their dynamic if that is their intention and their desire?
Specifically, I'm going to draw on an experience from a relationship I was in about a year ago, which is where my partner sort of knew what she was getting into when we got together and then was experiencing some frustration, was like, no, this is actually a part of sex that I really enjoy, and it actually makes it harder for me to enjoy receiving when I can't give.
Yeah.
And so I'm a very open-minded person. I can be very fluid. You shouldn't expect this of everybody who's stoned, but I will go into a conversation and I will ask questions. I will be curious. I'll be like, what about this appeals to you? What about this is turning you on? What is stimulating you? What are you excited about? Like, let me get into the mentality behind this, and then I'll see what I can offer.
Right.
I'll see what I can do.
So
I'll see what I can do.
If she was like, I want to be able to like touch you. I want to be able to like get you off in that way.
Yeah.
And maybe say at that point in time I wasn't comfortable with that. I'd be like, would you be okay if maybe you were touching me other places and I handled my shit myself?
Oh,
like
yeah.
it's I
That's
like
a good
to,
solution.
It can be if you're comfortable with that.
Right.
Some stones aren't
They don't even
comfortable
wanna
getting
touch
off
themselves.
at all in the same room with somebody else, and that's also completely. I've experienced that myself during certain phases of time. But
It is a good suggestion though for other people
yeah,
potentially.
like there's I think the more creative and curious and open-minded you are, the more fun you can have, because you don't listen, I'm not gonna ever make myself uncomfortable for someone else's pleasure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you shouldn't.
And that like I'll suffocate underneath you, but like I'm not gonna but I'm not gonna bend on my boundaries.
Yeah, obviously.
But I will see what I can be comfortable with. I'm like, maybe I haven't considered this.
Yeah.
And but a no is a no. Like if you bring this up to your partner and they're like, I actually don't feel like exploring or experimenting, or my sexuality is feeling quite rigid right now, then you really do just have to leave it alone.
Totally.
Yeah.
100%.
Addy, do you have any suggestions for mixing it up, or is it not something you've wanted to or have explored?
Honestly, when I have wanted to, toys are your best friend. Toys are your best friend. This goes for like being a pillow princess, having sex with people who are and aren't stone tops.
Sorry, what kind of toys?
Any toys you
Vibrators,
want.
maybe
Vibrators.
Like, what did you think?
Oh, because I went to like
Bop it.
twist it, exactly.
Yeah, that's how you top, right?
I thought more so in the realm of like whips and floggers and paddles. That's what I was thinking.
You
that too.
You're a fucking freak.
Well,
that whole episode, you're just been a freaky little freak over there.
Yeah, you've out-freaked me. I'm like, no, but toys are definitely best friend.
100%.
Like, and as a pillow princess that has sex with people who are stone tops and also aren't, who just like top recreationally for fun.
Top recreationally is crazy.
That's what that is.
That implies topping professionally.
and some do.
And some do.
I'm professionally. Hello.
This is correct.
If like receiving is a part of sex for them that they enjoy, but like you're not comfortable giving that, but like you still want to hook up with each other, they can get themselves off, or like. Yeah, toys are just your best friend because then it's like a third party that's not an extra person.
True.
That can add to the dynamic.
Make it easier.
Wow.
For sure. Very well said.
That's a great point.
Very, very well said.
There was a quote that I wanted to share from Stone Butch Blues by Leslie Feinberg, and it kind of talks about when being stone is a bit of like a trauma response and how to maybe help someone through that who wants to be helped through that. That's like a major key point there. But this is a quote about the main character's partner and how she could, quote, melt her stone.
I like that term, melt the stone.
Yeah.
I don't love it.
No?
No.
Really?
Yeah.
It's kind of only if you want it.
I mean, but that's just me.
In the book, the character desires that. They desire someone to do that for them.
Consensually, it's great.
Yeah.
Consensually, it's great.
Not like forcibly
it did activate me a little bit. I'm not gonna lie.
That's not fair. I began to realize how emotionally wounded I was, how damaged, but Teresa could always sense when I was about to petrify like stone. She could see it coming by the way I held my body as I walked in the door. She could hear it building up in the stories of life's daily abuses, on the job, at the corner store, on the street. Those were the times she would tell me stories in bed. Wonderful, sensuous. Wonderful, sensuous, tactile fantasies about how your body feels when you're laying on the sand in the sun and the ocean's waves are lapping near your toes, or climbing worn wooden stairs to visit a quaint sunlit room where a lover awaits. The stories were relaxation therapy and sexual fantasy combined, meant to simultaneously calm and arouse me. They did both. Teresa could always melt my stone.
Who's writing this poetry?
Leslie Feinberg. This is like how
Lesbian Bible.
Yeah, basically this book is what popularized the term stone.
I have feelings about this.
Tell us, yeah.
I feel like that's a relatable experience for a lot of people, and I'm happy for them. It makes me wary that a lot of people will go into like a relationship with someone like me as like a challenge, or like see me as a conquest, as like a can I get them to.
A lot of the book talks about that too.
I know.
Like there's more quotes that I'll share where that is some people's expectations, and I don't know, have you guys ever experienced that sexually, where people go into a relationship with the desire to try and change you?
Not into a relationship, but into a hookup, yes, absolutely.
Yeah.
Where I'll list out explicitly what I will and won't do.
Yeah.
And then midway through they're like, do you wanna? And I'm like, no, you already know I don't want to.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Not explicitly, but like in the same vein, like I'll have a one-off hookup with someone and we'll do what we did, and then they'll be like, so you really don't want anything? And I'm like,
Right.
Correct.
Yeah.
Yes, thank you. I'm very content right now. I'm very satisfied. I'm good. I tend to run at the first sign of someone sort of making it their life's mission to.
Totally.
Yeah.
I think there was comments as well that talked about feeling bad or feeling guilty for not like pleasuring someone in return. So it's like being like, do stones really want this, or is it actually trauma and they like want someone to pursue it further? Because I think maybe that can be a bit of confusion as well, as like there is this societal expectation that like reciprocating is like the way to have sex, like you were saying.
Yeah.
So maybe like when you come across it, it can feel a bit like this is what I'm socially expected to do to like push on it.
I have
even
so
though that's
many
not
thoughts and
right.
feelings about this question and the way it was phrased.
Yeah.
Because when people are like, they do want it, it's just trauma. I'm like, first of all,
Even if it's trauma, you
even if
respect
it's trauma,
it.
you have to respect it. But
Especially.
also, like, wanting it and wanting it are two different things, if that makes sense.
No.
Like,
You said the same thing twice.
You do it twice.
there was emphasis.
Right.
There was emphasis. Like, in my brain, I'm like, in a perfectly ideal situation, could I enjoy something? Yeah. Is that ever my reality where I'm like comfortable enough? No, it's the same thing as like lesbians who were confused for a long time because they're into like fictional men. If that makes sense. Like,
or they watch gay porn.
Hold up, I haven't heard of this.
There's a phenomenon of women who or in
lesbians who watch gay porn. You know about
that's
a
not what
different
I'm
thing.
talking about.
Oh,
That's not what I'm
this
talking
is
about at all.
different.
I love how I said fictional men and you were like gay porn.
Yeah, they are. It's kind of fictional.
Those are real. No,
Those are real men.
There were myself included. Growing up, I very much thought I was straight because like I would read about boys in books or like see them in movies and on TV, and I'd be like, yeah, of course I'm attracted to them.
Right.
And then I meet men in real life, and I'm like, no, I'm not.
Yeah.
It's one of those things that
You
like
have to be the perfect ideal.
Yeah. And like, and sometimes in your head, it can be this thing that you want, and then you get down to it, and you're like, this is not what I want for one reason or another. And trauma is a perfectly valid reason for that to not be something you want. That's just it.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Inversely, somebody might, like, especially somebody who's like not used to it or not informed, might look at a pillow princess and be like, you don't want to touch me? Well, do you even want me?
They take it personally.
They do.
Yeah.
They take it personally, or they think that I'm not a lesbian. I've had stone tops, actual people who identify as stone tops, tell me that I'm not a lesbian because I don't want to touch them, even though they don't want to be touched.
That's wild.
It's just the fact that I don't want to, the fact that I wouldn't,
right.
like, puts them off somehow and makes me less gay.
I think
Crazy.
even the book Stone Butch Blues might play into that a little bit. I'll say like a lot of the narrative throughout the entire book is the fact that so many femmes weren't stone femmes. Like a lot of them were in pursuit of trying to switch it, or a lot of them were actually like butch in the sheets, which is like they would use it as
Butch
like
in
a
the sheets.
Butch in the
sheets. Yeah. But I don't know, like maybe that
Femme
kind of
in the
plays
streets.
into it a little bit, but it is a valid
Can I say
identity.
something?
Yeah, please.
Wanting to get railed by a woman is the gayest fucking thing you can ever do.
I agree.
Thank you.
There's nothing straight about that. I don't
agree.
understand.
I think it's lesbophobia and it's misogyny. They think the bottom is just like a passive role, like you're just there.
Yeah.
They act like I'm not making like an active choice to have lesbian sex, like that I'm just there. Like I'm
Choosing this, I'm
I
really
wanna
enjoying
fuck.
it.
I want to fuck.
Yeah.
Hello?
Period.
Yeah.
Okay.
Is it difficult to find partners to fuck? Or
Yes. Yes. Especially because of the type of person I am. I'm very tall, I'm very loud, I'm very confident. I have femmes love me. Little femmes love me. I'm femme
Little
for butch.
femmes
Shout out to the femmes. I love you, little femmes. You're not for me though. I think they're so cute. They'll come up to me.
You can send them over to me.
You can have all of them. They'll come up to me and be like, hi. And I'm like, hey, sister, how can I help you?
Hey, girly.
No, literally. It is hard to find people. And especially like being femme for butch, like
Yeah.
I'm sure we've all heard that we're in a mask shortage. I don't think that that's true, but we are in a top shortage.
I mean, we're 50-50 here right now.
Yeah.
I'm just saying, so.
I think we are in a top shortage though. All the tops are locked down. All the tops are at home. They've got somebody already
at home.
I think people who only want to be
taken.
tops. I'm coming across a lot of switches.
Yeah, everybody's verse, and not everybody is
Yeah.
comfortable, even if it's just for one
Playing
night.
a solid role.
Yeah, just like only topping, and that's totally fine.
So fair and so
Yeah.
fine.
Yeah, that's totally fine.
So
You
fair
can
and so
have your
fine.
boundaries, but that's why
Yeah.
if I get even an inkling that someone wants to hook up with me, I'm like laying everything out on the table. I'm like,
Yeah.
this
Right.
is exactly
So
what
you
I
know.
will and won't do,
Yeah.
because my nightmare is to be in the middle of it, and
Yeah.
they're like, my turn.
Yeah.
Ooh,
Don't be disappointed.
exactly.
If you are giving your partner exactly what they're asking for,
Yeah, no
then
guilt.
there's no guilt behind that. And if
Yeah.
you're feeling guilty about that, then you need to work on that yourself.
Yeah,
You don't need to
reflect
make that your
internally.
partner's
I
problem.
agree, and also think maybe is there like some aftercare that's needed, like some reassurance.
Yeah.
You know, some words of affirmation afterwards, like I
Yeah.
really enjoyed that. That was
Yeah.
really pleasurable
Yeah,
for me.
ask for what you
know?
need.
Yeah.
But also remember that like
It's not someone else's responsibility.
if somebody is laying out for you exactly what they want and how they want it, and you come through and fulfill that,
Yeah.
then there's nothing more you can do. You don't need to be like playing guessing games,
Yeah,
reading people's
absolutely.
minds if they're not being honest with you. Like
Yeah.
you're acting on the information you have, which means that there should be no guilt involved.
For sure. So we will circle back to some more dating conversations, but I do want to jump in and share a little bit of Stone Butch history and some Pillow Princess history as well. The history of Stone Butch identity is very much connected to that of the butch femme dynamics that formed in the working class lesbian communities from the 1940s to 1950s. This was a visible group of lesbians who wanted the community regardless of the discrimination and brutal treatment from police. And I think this is kind of what makes it so sacred also is like these people really pioneered the lesbian community and like were treated really horribly, which we'll get into, but like they fought for a lot of our rights, you know, and like being visible in a time when it was illegal to cross-dress, it's like illegal to be visibly seen and visibly queer. That's like a constant protest, just like every day you're living your life and you're protesting.
Which is why you probably, out of respect, shouldn't use the term stone.
Exactly. Like that's a very important historic term.
Yes.
These were also referred to as the old bar days, and according to the book Boots of Leather, Slippers of Gold, which is another kind of like lesbian Bible book where there's a lot of like interviews of these lesbians of the time. During this time, in order to be an active member of the community, a person would need to adhere to the rules of the butch-femme dynamic and assume a role as either a butch or a femme, whether that felt like a natural expression or something imposed.
Wait, like, is this for all lesbians? Or?
For people like in like kind of the working class lesbians who were in these bars.
Who wanted to be part of community.
They were fighting for the rights at all. They were just they had a secret basically. It's like that's how rich lesbians were not having it. But these lesbians were like they were types who were where they were like femmes who maybe were working as secretaries or they were working as like strippers. Not only were these roles a gender expression, but they were also very much a sexual dynamic, obviously, as we're gonna get into. So the butch was expected to be the doer and the giver, and the femme's receptive passion was the butch's fulfillment.
Wait, but that's not always expected, though, right?
During this time,
I'm just talking about this historical.
No, I mean, even then. I think it's like in our History of Lesbians episode where you talked about how you were femme in the streets but butch in the sheets.
And we're gonna get into that. Like, it wasn't, that's kind of what like the group expectation was. So it's like when you're in the bar, it's kind of the same way where someone would maybe, you talked about being out at a party and someone was like, carbon bottoms, like making fun of you for it.
Bottom.
No, but someone made fun of you for saying that you're verse.
What's wrong with being a bottom?
There's nothing wrong. It's just incorrect. I'm not a bottom, but I bottom for sure.
Period.
Yeah. But someone would make fun of you that, and like that's a little bit of like insecure masculinity. So there was a lot of, because you're being targeted, there was a lot of like this desire from butches to be like a very tough masculine person because you're constantly being like abused by other men, by like people in society. It's like you really have to like be, and it was a survival strategy. Like you need to be the toughest, most masculine butch person. Like, you have to drive a Harley. No, but actually it's like that's what their reality was, is like they wanted to get the best job in the best steel plant so that like elevated their status as a butch. They want to drive like the nicest motorcycle. Like all of these things are status symbols of masculinity. And
respect me.
Yeah, and like the idea at the time in the butch femme dynamic, like socially, was that a masculine butch person is the top. They're the stone. They're not supposed to get touched. Like that's maybe like a feminine activity, and that's what the gender roles kind of were expected at the time. Sure. But that doesn't mean that it was actually happening.
Okay.
So behind closed doors, a lot of people were actually switched. So there's a quote from Joan Nestle, A Restricted Country, and it says, "When one moved behind the opening gambits, a whole range of sexuality was possible. We joked about being a butchy femme or a femmy butch or feeling kiki, which meant going both ways. We joked about a reversal of expectation. You get a butch home and she turns over on her back." Whether that was your reality, you felt like you kind of had to fit into one of those roles. Right. But I think we see today with the opening up of these expectations, not everyone fits in that. Like a lot of people are all over the map.
Flip over on their back.
Yeah, well, it's like maybe that just isn't your identity. That's not how you like to have sex. However, a butch could also mean top. So that was kind of like a conflicting thing that I'm seeing in Boots of Leather, Slippers of Gold, which is the one where I said like they interviewed a lot of people at the time, is you see a lot of people use butch as a synonym for top, which gets a little confusing. So it wasn't always about gender presentation. This person named Reggie, who was a butch woman from the 1950s, said, "You can't tell butch femme by people's dress. I knew women with long hair, femme clothes, and found out they were butches. Actually, I even knew one who wore men's clothes, haircuts, and ties who was a femme." So it's like there's a bit of
their
confusion.
tops or their bottoms.
Not always. Like, I think there's just a bit of conflation between, it's language.
It's historical texts, babe. There's many translations.
And it's language that was forming actively in community. So it's like everyone's going to have a little bit of a different definition at the time. And it like no one's formally defined it yet.
Yeah, like people use switch and verse interchangeably. And to me, those mean two completely different things.
Do you want to define the difference for everybody?
Well, yes. Switch refers to the power dynamic. So it's submissive and dominant. And verse refers to giving and receiving, top and bottom.
Don't get it wrong when you're with Syd.
Well, because if I tell someone I'm a switch,
right,
I don't want there to be the expectation that they're going to touch me.
It matters.
Yeah, but I do want them to know that the power dynamic is going to shift.
Yeah, I'm switching verse, so sometimes I'm just like, it doesn't really matter.
Which is so fair.
Yeah, I'm a submissive bottom, so I'm like,
I don't correct people. I don't correct people, but for me,
it does matter.
The language does.
It matters.
It seriously matters.
That's a good point.
If I tell someone I'm a switch, I don't want them to think they're going to like bend me over because that's not what I want.
Another thing I kind of wanted to bring up too is like there's this interesting argument around the fact that butch femme dynamics reinforce heterosexual gender norms and dynamics in heterosexual relationships. And I think the stone butch dynamic, it like really opposes that. And it's very interesting because it makes the feminine presenting person's sexuality and pleasure the focal point, where that is
100%.
Absolutely not the case in heterosexual relationships.
Absolutely.
It's like it's all about the man. So I think that's actually very empowering and very different, and it really differentiates these dynamics from anything to do with heterosexuality.
Anything a man does, a lesbian does hotter.
And 100%. And that's just facts.
And better.
Because like, if you think about like the stereotypical like hetero sex, it's like the man's doing all the work, quote unquote, but then also they're the only ones getting off. Or it's like kind of it's a little bit flipped. In terms of like roles when it comes to lesbians.
I'm thrilled to be doing all the work and not being the person who gets off. I feel like that's kind of how it should be. I don't know why. Never mind.
For you.
I said that and I was like, that's not. I was like, that's not. But there is that also weird phenomenon where everyone's like obsessed with like stone top pillow princess dynamics. And I'm like, I'm not bothered by the way you have sex. I don't ask questions. I don't like invalidate or like
people
discredit
are very
you.
Curious about it. I mean, we just made an episode on the history of lesbian sex, and I was like, who wants to hear about pillow princesses and stone tops? And it was like so many comments. People really want to know what the fuck you all got going on.
What's going on over there?
It's interesting though. It's interesting though because like I find a lot of people don't have sex the way I do, but I don't make it sort of my business.
I think it's just because there's like an average way to have sex,
right?
And then there's like outside of it,
and I think that's what's interesting. What triggers me, not triggers. I think that's what like sort of, because I experienced that on a variety of fronts, being a trans person as well.
That was my point going to be, the way everyone wants to know what the fuck's happening in your pants.
Everyone wants to know how I fuck, or like what my body looks like, and I'm just like, I don't care about any of your shit. Why are you so invested in mine? That's what it feels like to me sometimes, but I'm always happy to talk about it.
That's fair. I think for me personally, I can't say for anybody else, but for me personally, it was the same way that I was like curious about kink or curious about like just anything that anybody does that's different than me.
Just like I think it's about the intent that you're curious, you know, like if you're going into it in a way that you're just like, I want to know about this, I'm curious about it, versus like I want to know what this is so I can judge it. You know?
I'm just drawing from other experiences. It's really not that big a deal, but sometimes it makes me feel in the very weird way when people are like, what surgeries have you had? And I'm like,
they forget they do this.
And some people do it like that, though.
Yes.
Jumping back into the history, one thing that we kind of brought up earlier, but I found this was a common theme across like all of the texts of the time that I was reading, is that many femmes did express an interest in touching their partners more, but that many butches were scared. There was kind of that element of insecure masculinity. They were scared that rolling over or being flipped, as it was called at the time, would make them less butch. So that was also like an element of conflict in it. But I would love to read a portion of the novel Stone Butch Blues again for y'all, which once again is historically accurate fiction written by butch lesbian and author Leslie Feinberg. This portion of the conversation is between the main character Jess and her friend Jan, who are both stone butches, and it showcases how stone butches were sometimes perceived by their partners. Trigger warning for you, like it's again this desire to like melt the stone, really, and like see someone as a conquest, and that is historically what it seems to be was a lot of femmes' MO, perhaps. I can imagine that these roles being prescribed onto you would feel quite restrictive, right? And it's like, if everyone's you're dating is doing this, and like being switch inverse isn't an option out there, and you can't just choose someone who's that. It's like you're kind of like, just because of the way you look, you're like pre-prescribed into it. I can see where this desire would come from.
I think there's a resurgence of both of these things right now, to be honest, because first of all, the femmes are feral. The femmes are feral, and they all the femmes, and they all want to do stuff to me, and I'm like, this is new. Like, I would say like 5 or 6 years ago, that wasn't like the same.
Why do you think that is?
I don't fucking know.
In the last like few years, I think it's been like a lot of the internet and talking about sex and sexuality so openly, and realizing that femme looking people can be dominant, or they can like be a top. It's like, it never even unlocked in my mind. I'm like, I do femme really well, so I must be feminine, I must be cisgender, and I must be submissive. And it's like, I just played all that, but then I realized after, I'm like, whoa, I'm in a mental mind prison, and I don't need to open the fucking
mental mind
the door's unlocked.
Yeah.
Walk out.
Yeah, walk out.
First of all, if you're a dominant femme, hit my line. But second of all, I think it also like plays into those stereotypes where like all stones are masc and all pillow princesses are femme. I have had on more than one occasion a dynamic I wanted to pursue that couldn't like come to fruition because with a femme, because we were both stone and it just wasn't gonna work.
Interesting.
And like, if there are any masked pillow princesses out there, also hit my line. I'll take such good care of you, please, please, and thank you. I'm waiting for my pillow prince.
Pillow prince.
I'm on my knees praying every night for you to come into my life, please, please, and thank you.
Is it hard to find?
First of all,
pillow prince?
I'm so mask for mask, and the masks are simply
you mentioned
not
that last
masked for me
time.
I mean, hello.
The masks are not masked for me back, really, in any capacity.
So interesting.
Yeah.
In any?
I have not been hit on by a mask that wasn't you in probably ever, actually.
Really?
Really?
That shocks me.
I'm upset about it.
I think it's a little gender role-ish.
Well, like, what, are you worried that it's gay? Like, what's the...
I don't know.
What's wrong with that?
But I am seeing a lot more femmes for femme lately.
It's
That
a lot
is
of femme
true,
for femme, and it's a lot of
but
femmes
not-
wanting to watch Mask for Mask.
Not a lot of masks.
You were one of those. I
That's me.
I want to watch the Kens kiss. Like,
Kens.
I want to watch gay men kiss. I think Heated Rivalry really woke this up in me.
Yeah,
Like,
okay.
I'm like, make the Kens kiss.
You used to make fun of me for that.
Again, mental prison. Opened it up. Everything.
I love watching men. I think men are good for one thing only, and that's fucking each other. To be honest,
True.
So
Yeah.
true. Fuck each other.
Oh, this is
and
hyperbole,
lift
by
heavy
the way.
things.
I
This
don't
is
actually
all
believe in these
joking.
things.
We're
Yes,
joking.
We're joking. But we all know what each other is talking about, which is what matters.
Anyway, I'm
right,
going to
okay.
read this text now.
Yes, of course.
Okay, so once again, this is a conversation between the main character Jess and her friend Jan, who are both stone butches. Jan slumped. If I tell you why she broke up with me, you promise you'll never tell another soul? I thought about it before I answered her. You can trust me, I said. You took long enough to answer, she said warily. Jan's voice grew hoarse. I just couldn't let her touch me. We never talked about it. I don't even know how to talk about it. At first, it was okay with her. She understood, but later she told me she prided herself on always having been able to seduce her stone lovers. That scared the shit out of me, you know? I was thinking of how nice it would have been to have a femme lover who cared enough to try. I wonder how she did it. I wondered how it would feel to be touched and not be afraid. I thought of Edna a lot. Anyway, said Jan, I couldn't, and she finally left me. After all these years, could you believe that? The only woman I ever loved. Deep down, my inside seethed. I knew I was stoned too. It was a home alarm system that didn't seem to have an off switch. Once installed, the sirens went off and the gates shut, even if the intruder was loving. Would I finally find a woman who loved me and lose her because of that? If that was true, life seemed too hard to bear. I think this is kind of interesting because it shows two sides of it. Like, Jan is someone similar to yourself who like doesn't want their stone to be melted at all, but then Jess, the main character, does want that and is kind of like looking for that. So
Jan feels like they can't have a woman love them unless that happens.
Yeah, I mean both of them are scared of that situation because that is kind of sad. you know, someone leaving you because of your sexual preference, who you love. And so I think it kind of shows just like the way in general, historically, these femmes were maybe looking at the situation. It's like some people were pillow princesses and were just like down for that. And then other people were trying to melt it. So who knows? If you guys want a deeper dive onto the butch femme dynamic, check out our episode on butch versus femme, where we really explore that in more depth in history. And I would definitely recommend reading the book Stone Butch Blues specifically. It's kind of like the Stone Butch Bible, I would say. Trigger warning, there is lots of like violence and abuse being spoken of in that book. So just read it with caution. But I think it does give everyone a sense of like the trauma that was associated with this historically, because I think that is a really important thing for us to understand when we understand this in historical context of like why so many people were stoned in the time, and like really where this language came from is it came from trauma and like fighting for our liberation.
Why did the language evolve from stone butch to stone top?
I think stone top today is used a lot more widely than stone butches. I'm sure like lots of people still identify with stone butch, but especially online, this kind of identity too. So I think that's kind of like the move towards it being more gender neutral.
I hear that. Like, I don't identify as butch or like
exactly
a lot of what the butch identity is. So it's very helpful for me personally.
Next, I do want to dive into pillow princess history. So pillow princess specifically is a newer term compared to stone butch, emerging in the early 1990s within LGBTQ spaces and in writing and discourse about lesbian sexual relationships specifically. So a pillow princess was described in 1992 in the lesbian publication De Neuve to characterize a dynamic in which the butch would initiate and give sexual pleasure while the femme would play pillow princess and receive. The pillow suggesting passivity and princess indicates special treatment. It was a term built off of the imagery aligned with butch femme dynamics. But much to the sapphic community's distaste, the term has spread beyond lesbian circles since the 2010s. So this is in part due to mainstream outlets like Maxime, Mary Claire, and Your Tango using it out of context and simply using it to describe someone, like we were saying, who starfishes, or people who are just sexually passive, who want to receive without reciprocating. I mean, we've spoken about this already. We don't love that.
No.
And unfortunately, pillow princesses going mainstream means that it's gained sexist and negative undertones as well. So outside of the queer community, pillow princess is sometimes used derogatively to imply a partner is lazy or selfish in sex, which queer educators have critiqued as oversimplified or sexist, whereas in sapphic communities, some people adopt pillow princess as a valid expression of sexual preference. Well, not a negative label.
What's the term for a man who just like
I was gonna say
gets off and then
lovers,
they don't please the woman? That's just a man.
I mean, I think that's why it's sexist, though. That's why we're saying is there isn't a term for a man who's doing that.
There's also there aren't like derogatory terms for men who are promiscuous either. Like women are judged and critiqued for any form of sexuality.
But we're also expected to have it.
Yeah.
And like do it real well for the man.
Do it real well, but only for one man.
Only for one man.
Because if you've practiced with other men, you're a whore. They want a very, very talented virgin.
Oh, not only that, but somebody who's younger, who's moldable. It's just giving like, you know, Predator. PDF files. Yeah. Moving on to dating. So listeners in the comments are curious if masc and butches are more likely to be stone and are pillow princesses more likely to be femmes. There's no survey or poll on this, unfortunately, but I'd like to ask about your personal experiences and what you both have seen in the real world.
And like dating.
Out in the jungle.
Historically, masks were more likely to be stone, but just because of like the trauma that they were enduring. But in terms of like actual sexual preferences of each individual person, I think you're not more or less likely just because of your gender expression. 100%. I know me personally, like my identity as a femme does tie into my sexuality and like my dynamics with the partners that I choose.
In what way? Could you elaborate on that?
my God, yes, of course.
Yeah.
I like to consider myself like an old-fashioned, old-school femme, where like I want someone that's like very butch. I want to be the more submissive one, the one that's taken care of.
Yeah.
Whatever. And obviously, I don't expect that of all butches.
Yeah.
But that's what I want in a partner for me.
Right. Does like the history of the butch femme dynamics, like you're really into that, or like
It resonates
get
with
into
me
it? Yeah.
deeply.
Nice.
Deeply.
Yeah. I think like it is like a hot erotic dynamic as well.
I agree.
Yeah. Is there generally more people who are more likely? Like, what have you found?
The mask bottoms that Syd is looking for are coming to me, and I don't need that.
I think you read as a
this
dom
makes sense.
femme.
This makes
I think
like a
I
dom
get
femme
that all the
top.
time.
Like,
there's an energy, there's an aura.
I get dom femme a lot.
Yeah.
The bottoms.
You look like you're gonna whip out like a ruler and
I
teach somebody a
agree. Like, I
lesson.
feel like you're gonna beat the shit out of me.
I get sexy secretary a lot.
Yeah.
It's the glasses. I know.
Yeah.
People, bottoms love me. Bottoms love me. And I'm
Yeah.
like, we are the same. I'm so sorry. We are the same.
Is that why you started your branding thing? Like, is that to help you find people?
I think that just is me.
Yeah.
But also I'm like,
Princess lesbian.
I'm hoping it pays to advertise. I'm hoping like putting that out there, people stop having the misconception. But there's a pretty decent like even split, but I find that I get approached by bottoms a lot.
Yeah. Yeah.
Hot for them, maybe?
Hot for a fantasy.
Yeah.
I'm like, we are brethren. Like we're not
brethren from the same kin.
Yeah,
not
exactly.
gonna help each other.
Exactly.
Yeah.
You're just gonna like
we're
rub
gonna pillow
butts
fight.
together.
Yeah, exactly.
We're gonna pillow fight is so
We're gonna
fucking
pillow fight. We're
funny.
gonna bump purses.
Syd, what have you found?
I've had many an experience with another, not many, but
Yeah.
I'll say definitely a handful of experiences with another femme where we found we couldn't move forward with our dynamic because we were both stoned.
And that was femmes.
Yeah, that was femmes.
Yeah.
And I want a mask pillow princess so badly.
Yeah.
I
You're having
really
fun.
do.
Well,
I really
hit up
I
Addie's
really
line.
do.
No, I know.
My
Like
pillow-
next one
my
that comes to
pillow
me.
prince.
I feel like what's happening is like it's not matching up with their fantasy, but they exist. You know what I mean?
So
like
here's how I
they're
feel
not
about it.
looking for you.
Here's what I usually compare it to
Yeah.
is, you know how everyone says that all women are bisexual? Or like, it seems like a lot of
people
women
say
are
that?
bisexual these days. And it's like there's a high disparity between bisexual women and men.
Yes.
I think because it's more sexualized, it's more normalized, I guess, for
Yeah.
women to be able to come out as bisexual as opposed to for men.
I think men's homosexuality is like so repressed
I
through
think-
fag
I
discourse
agree.
that if they're bisexual and they can like have sex with women, they can have that life.
Yeah.
They shove their bisexuality so far down that it like takes years to unravel it. Like it is like shoved in there.
100%. But the same thing in the context of like masks who like to receive. It's
Right, you feel it's part of that.
It's not normalized. It's not sexualized. People aren't loud about it. So it feels like the weird thing.
I mean, it might be like a continuation of like the bit of the insecure masculinity that was socialized during the butch
100%.
femme dynamic.
And we're all carrying like different flavors of trauma with us.
Oh, yeah.
But I think
oh yeah.
I think that like a bigger on the grand scheme of visibility,
Yeah.
I think the numbers are definitely equal in terms
yeah.
of like I think it's just less visibility because some things are more attractive to people, some things are more sexualized, some things are more normalized, some things are more spoken about.
And I think other people are in similar mind prisons the way I was. Like I think like the way that we're
yourself.
socialized.
Yeah, free
like,
yourself.
And I think what you're talking about is like just the way we're socialized as well,
Yeah.
and like what role that plays. And that can honestly, even though you're feeling something, it can make you not connect the mind and the body.
Yeah.
Like you just don't tap into it at all because you don't think it's a possibility.
Yeah, there's also those
Yeah.
like societal connections though of like,
Yeah.
well, receiving is feminine and feminine is bad.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like we can all, not all, but like a lot of us now coming up in this generation can look at that, dissect it and be like, well, that's
Yeah.
not true. But not everybody has access to those resources. Not everybody's surrounded by open-minded people. So there could be a lot of masculine presenting people who don't want to be perceived as feminine because they think it's, you know, it's weak or it's undesirable.
Or it makes me less masculine.
Yeah,
and my
like even
identity
just-
is
100%.
masculine.
100%.
Yeah.
And that's inherently a bad thing.
I think another thing that I've seen a lot of too is this is specifically for a lot of non-binary people is like or even like some trans people too, but like as they've gone along in their transition and they feel like their outer presentation matches how they feel more, they feel like they can tap into more of these feminine traits or vice versa. You
That's
know what I mean?
100%
It's like
true for
I've
me
seen,
specifically.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, 100%. Like I'm way more comfortable being less clothed than I've ever been with partners to a degree.
Yeah.
Way more comfortable being touched on certain parts of my body.
Yeah.
Like it does change things for sure.
Even just like personality wise is like being being more twinky also, like being more feminine, being more this. It's like people are perceiving, I feel people are perceiving me more masculine. Yeah. And now I can bring in this other element.
I'm way more comfortable being feminine now, knowing that people's inherent like instinct towards me isn't woman.
Yeah, exactly.
Do you keep your socks on?
This is really an important question.
It's really important.
This is an important question.
Sometimes. It depends on if I have time to take them off or not.
Sometimes my circulation doesn't go to my feet, and I have to keep my.
If you keep your socks on, it does make it easier to come. It does make it easier to come scientifically.
I'm gonna say,
if you scientifically,
keep your socks on,
keep your socks on. Wait, why?
No, I thought it was take them off.
No, if you keep them on.
Oh,
because it increases your blood flow.
Oh, that's what I was gonna. If I have cold ass toes, I'm not relaxed. Like if I am in, even if I'm getting like a massage or something, and they don't put like a little heater on my toes, I'm like, I'm not enjoying the massage. Like I'm just thinking about how frozen my toes are.
I can't enjoy my massage. My toes are cold. I need my toe heater.
There's people that are like,
it's
if
weird.
you fuck with socks on, get out.
Yeah. What is up with that?
Okay, so that was
foot fetish.
That was a very popular. I can't remember if it was like a Reddit or an Urban Dictionary thing, like 15 years ago. I remember it very prominently in grade 8.
Yeah.
Where it was like, it's not gay if you keep your socks on because you haven't fully committed to the bed. Right. Because you're not naked. You're not committed.
I just saw this clip of Theo Vaughn recently where someone asked him a question. They're like, is it gay if you wear a shirt and no pants to bed? And he was like, I think the better litmus test is if you have sex, if you're sleeping with men.
It's gay if you fuck a dude.
Yeah. Are you having sex with men, yes or no?
I think if you go to bed with a man, that's more gay. So the next dating question, I'm wondering, when dating, have you found being a stone top or a pillow princess is viewed as something negative by people?
Absolutely, yes.
Yeah.
Talk your shit, Addy.
I find that it's easier for people to accept only receiving versus only giving.
True.
Actually, though, I've only ever dated versus ever.
Really?
Yes.
You have not found your stone?
No.
Do you want to?
I'm like hooking up with a stone top right now, but we're not dating. We're friends.
See, that's what I was saying. Friends.
Yeah, we're lesbian friends.
Yeah.
You know, I've only ever dated versus, and that was actually a reason why my last like serious relationship was non-monogamous, because she was verse, and I have no problem with like, if you want to receive and like I can't do that for you, like you can get someone else to fill in the gaps. Like that's not a big deal for me. But like ultimately she wanted that from me, but she knew that like I couldn't give that to her, and I knew that I couldn't give that to her. Yeah, it was tough, but like we're still on good terms. Like we still really care about each other. We just like weren't super compatible.
Just misaligned desires, and it can happen so often in so many different ways.
Yeah. But definitely like when I've had people like ask me out, and then I'm like, I'm a pillow princess, just so you know. Yeah. They're like, oh, well, never mind.
I was gonna ask, like, how early do you guys tell people? You tell people right away?
You don't even have to. If I feel like you're gonna flirt with me as you're walking up to me across the room, like I'm a bottom.
Well, it's your Instagram name. I feel like you're really putting it out there.
Yeah, I mean, I have to. Also, the nails, the carabiner on the right. I'm not wearing one. I'm wearing a mini skirt. There's no place for a carabiner. But if I am wearing something with belt loops, the carabiner's on the right side. I'm trying to flag, and but people see what they want to see, and they don't want to see my carabiner on the right side.
Sid, how early are you telling people?
I think as soon as the conversation turns sexual in any capacity. Yeah. But I also don't think most people are like too surprised, because the way I flirt is very top leaning and like
Toply.
It's very toply.
I want to get on my knees.
Yes, I really only bring it up if somebody expresses an interest in reciprocating in ways I'm not comfortable with, and then I'll be like, just so you know, this is how I fuck. I hope that's okay.
And do you feel like anyone has received it negatively?
And like I said, recently, like in the more recent years, the femmes are feral and just like want to do stuff to me.
Feral
and I'm like, this is interesting.
We're liberated.
This is more like
feral femmes.
We stepped out of our mind prison.
I find that people tend to be disappointed, but I don't think I've ever had anyone not continue to pursue me because of it. Right. Because I'm also very open-minded. So like if somebody pushes the issue and I'm like into them to date them, or like I'm interested in them in the long term, or it's someone I'm already seeing who's like, I want to change, I'm like, let's talk about it. Let's get into it.
Addy, what do you look for in a stone top?
What's your dream stone?
My ideal stone top, besides being like big, beefy, and butch, like besides the physical traits, I think I look for someone Why are we laughing? Why is that funny?
Because they're both looking at me.
Big beefy butch is built tough.
Forward.
Yeah. I mean, yes.
Shocked. We found it.
And they also have to be on Queer Collective podcast right next to me right now.
Curly locks. Let me guess. Curly locks.
Yes. Yeah. Exactly. No, but I want someone that is more of a submissive personality, but dominant. Dominant in bed.
I'm a switch.
Yeah. Okay.
I'm a switch.
Because listen, I'm a bitch. I'm bossy and evil, and I'm like, why are you arguing with me? I don't do that. I don't argue.
That's hot.
I like somebody that is forward still, though.
I think that's right.
It's hard. I'm very hard. I know. I'm super forward about what they want. I like Sid, do you want to just describe yourself and then
What's your perfect pillow princess? Whoa, look at those keys.
Yeah.
Perfect
I've said what I
pillow
need
princess.
to say.
Horny, handsy, insatiable, forward, very switchy. But like for real, a lot of people tell me they're a switch and then they're just submissive, and I'm like, okay, can we
Live your truth. Live your truth.
I'm, you know what I mean?
I do.
You know what I mean?
I sure do.
I listen. I need to be bossed around. I do.
I think that's a good place to leave it off. Can you both tell us where everyone can find you and what you got going on, if there's anything to plug?
Yeah, what's your address?
This is where to slide into the DMs.
Oh, yes,
Yeah.
it actually is. I'm Princess Lesbian on Instagram and TikTok, but lesbian with a Z, not an S.
All stone tops.
Assemble. Get in a line. I'm gonna come pick.
That's so funny.
Yeah.
You can find me on Instagram at hotboysid.
Thank you both so much for being here and for sharing so vulnerably and openly. We really appreciate it.
That's everything that we got. And until next time,
Peace.